Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Headbanging Live, gbhblofficial.com for short. And it is the best and worst of video games, the best and worst of gaming, should I say, for April 2025. The year is flying by. It's April 2025. And yeah, once again, we're going to run you down through the best games we played for this past month, the worst games we played for this past month, and any other thoughts and bits and pieces that we have to cover as well. It's a fairly busy month in regards to a lot of games I have played. Um, so yeah, I've got quite a few to kind of get into, really. Some larger sized games as well. Some I've kind of not quite finished, but there's a couple I've actually managed to finish. I think based on what you told me last week when I saw you, it's basically Assassin's Creed, right, for you this month.
Minus, I've got one other one which
Cool.
took me about 30 seconds to complete, and then I've got obviously Vampire Survivor with the DLC.
Right, well let's touch upon some of these that kind of were like hangovers, so to speak, from previous months or had new DLC. So I guess we'll start with Vampire Survivors, which had a new DLC and the usual, whatever it was, 5 to 10 achievements. And normally with Vampire Survivors, always happy to see new DLC, even though I'll admit I'm probably not quite that bothered about the game anymore. So when this DLC came along, I was like, well, obviously I was going to go back and finish it, but it took me longer than it should have. I thought it was actually one of the more challenging DLCs, all because the first couple of characters to unlock were really crap, and it was really to progress in the missions. You had to do something with this certain character, and I couldn't do it. I kept dying, so eventually I totally reworked my strategy just to fucking finish the thing.
Yeah, I think overall for the price you paid for the DLC of like £1.40, I think it is something. It's quite cheap, and there's quite a lot of achievements. I think it is worth it, but I think me and you discussed it before that perhaps it's time
To
to
move on.
move on from Survivors and maybe either make a new game or something else.
Something else, yeah. I,
Yeah,
I I think I think that as well. I think this DLC took a lot longer to come out than the rest did, so it wouldn't surprise me. I haven't looked into it. It wouldn't surprise me if they're winding down as well, kind of thing. But never say never. There'll be more. Could be more next week. Okay. Finally finished off Brotato, which is finally done. Liam, I'll go back to the statement Liam told me many months ago when I said to him, "Oh, I really like the game." It's like a very small version of Atmos 5. As he said, you'll hate it by the end after you have to do every character. He was right. By the end, I was so sick of it. So sick of it. Like, I know it seemed like an easy achievement list for them to do. And, because it's on Game Pass, you could easily just do one character per day. But it's the fact that every character run takes you like 20 minutes. It's not like it's a 5 minute run, it's a 20-minute run, and you kind of have to play it too. You can't just like walk away,
yeah, let it go.
you
Yeah.
know. But it's done now, 100% completed, and that included a DLC that had been released as well, like before. So that hopefully is that I'm hoping there's not going to be anything added to that game. It's done. Um, and my last one on that front of just updating you, so to speak, is as of today, and this is how up to date it is. So Thursday, the 1st of May that we're recording this. As of today, I need less than 200 Night Thorns to complete Disney Dreamlight Valley. I am on target to have the game finished on May 20th. So I'm almost there. I'm now within a month of completing this damn game. Getting on there every day, loading in, and then going around with all my biomes to find where the night thorns are today, and then clearing them out. And I have a process. I simply count them off. I go, what in my head? One, two, three, 10, and then I save it and I leave the game. That is it. That is it. So close. Next time we do this, I
That'll
will
be
have
done.
that game complete. Okay,
So,
I've got a couple on the under the achievements kind of only one where the games that are so small that would only be that you know what those games are, the easy completions.
yeah,
You've got one.
I've got one
Yeah,
too, which is
start
I'm,
yours then.
I'm ridiculously ashamed of it. To be fair, because there's a major, it's a major glitch. I'm going to call it.
Okay.
So, I, I, after completing two Assassin's Creed games, big games, I wanted a break to break it up in between, and I
Yep.
was going to the Game Pass, and there was a game called One Lonely Outpost
All right.
on Game Pass.
Yep.
And despite me not really caring about achievements that much, but I still have the habit of checking the game out, and I come across obviously the Welsh Hunter video on YouTube,
Yeah.
and it was basically complete this game in 30 seconds.
Right.
And then 31 achievements. And it can only be done on the PC. And basically, you download the game. As the game is going through the prologue, all you got to do is hit the key button, type in unlock all achievements, and all achievements
Yeah,
unlock.
it's one of those. It's one
So
of those.
I felt very dirty. And to be fair to the Welsh Hunter, he does say that he doesn't recommend it, but it's just a video that he thought he'd do. So people
Yeah.
want to do it. So yeah. So yeah, it probably still works. I don't know if it's been patched, but.
When did you do this?
This was 21 days ago.
Oh, I'm going to look into this. If this
Yeah,
is still on there, I'm totally doing this tonight. I'm totally doing it.
yeah.
I have no shame for this. I did that with Cooking Simulator at the beginning of this year, if you remember. No shame. So I am doing this. I want those 31 easy achievements for 30 seconds. Particularly if it's on Game Pass, it's fucking free. I ain't paying for it.
Yeah, I recommend that. Obviously, watch his video because I had the same thing he had. With only 30 achievements unlocked, and then I had to go back into it again and type re-unlock achievements to get
I'll do
to
it.
get him. So
I'll look at this video. I'll check him out. No worries. No
yeah,
worries. Fair enough. I've got just a few in there. I've got Cats and Seek Dino Park, which is one of the cat searching games I like to play. Fairly straightforward one, nothing special there. One that I generally don't even. This is such one of those games, right? So I like visual novels. You know what visual novels are, right? They're just the novel games, and
yeah, like
you
the
read
Walking
the
Dead games.
text. Yeah, no, yeah, yes, but way less interactive. I mean,
Yeah,
some of the more like cheaper ones where it's like, I don't know. Like I've played some of the past that are really weird. One where I think I remember telling you one where the dude's nan becomes young, and I swear he wants to bang her.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Shit like that. Those. And there's no interaction outside of just skipping forward or sometimes making a choice.
yeah.
So I played one of them called Secrets and Green. So yeah, basically super easy completion, job done. And although this isn't for achievements only, it's one of those that I have to mention because I'm not actually playing it. Crime Scene Cleaner. So one of these sort of simulation games that are on the Game Pass and all that. My wife doesn't really play much games, but she does love Power Wash Simulator, of course, and all of that, right? This is actually we've tried to sort of see if there's other ones that she might be into, and nothing's really stuck until Crime Scene Cleaner. Crime Scene Cleaner has stuck, and she's working her way through this game, but she's actually doing it. So there you go. Um, what else? Yeah, so then it's just the best and the worst, really. I've got a fair few in the best and three in the worst.
Two, three. I've got four in the best, one in the worst, and two in the middle.
Okay, two in the middle. Should we start?
Yeah.
Let's do your two in the middle because I've got nothing like that. So two in the middle.
Okay, obviously it's Assassin's Creed game because I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed game. So
Yep.
it's I wouldn't call them Assassin's Creed games, but they're Assassin's Creed Chronicles.
They're
So
Assassin's Creed games. Of
uh,
course they are. They're just
I
different
mean,
Assassin's Creed
yeah,
games.
yeah, they're very different. So the two I'm sticking in the middle are the China version and the Indian version, the
Right.
Indian version.
Yep.
So very enjoyable games. Obviously, they follow the story of obviously different assassins, and obviously Ezio's your master in it. So obviously, so yeah, decent games, enjoyable, not. Easy completions. I mean, they're very easy. No, like bloody doing all these collectibles crap. You can complete it in probably about 8 hours, all
Yeah.
three games. So yeah. So in the middle, not good, not bad. Okay.
Yeah, they're the side sort of scrolling ones, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think I played one of them. Maybe the China one, maybe a long time
yeah.
ago. Okay, well, let's do our worst then, and always end on a more positive with the best. So I'll run you through my three worst, and then we'll come back to yours and then do the best. Okay? So this one's really recent. This game's called Once Again, and I played this last night and finished it this morning, mainly because I had to replay the game just to do one achievement. This is a visual novel, but one with a little more interactivity in that occasionally I had to complete a puzzle. So I'm a big fan of emotional games, games that are short, tell a nice story, and hopefully tell something important. And this game's story is about a kid basically who ends up getting a wish granted once a year, where he gets to spend time with his mother who died a long time ago. And through that, every year he learns more about her and himself along the way. It sounds sweet. It is sweet.
Sounds it.
But it's one of those where I'm like, I didn't buy it. It was so overly sweet. I was starting to feel it was fake, and I didn't really get by it. I basically thought it was too much and felt insincere, um, and at times a little strange. Just a little where I'm like, what are we doing here? Like that kind of thing. Because but important. It's like what makes it that's why it's in the worst. Because I normally like these types of games. And I found this one also it drags on. Like it should wrap up a lot quicker. But I was like, why is it still dragging on? Why is it still dragging on? Right? But it's one of those games, right, where it tries to offer you something to do, and by doing that, it actually makes it worse. So if it should just be a visual novel. Don't even include any interactive points. But because they're like, oh, we got to give something for someone to do. Here's a random puzzle where I have to solve math problems, and they're not difficult math problems. Like
Yeah,
it's like 9 times 2. 18, that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like really stupid stuff that, or it's
yeah,
really annoying stuff where all I have to do is like, for example, drag an arm into frame. So like instead of being able to like maybe listen to the story or just read
mm,
it on the screen, I constantly have to pay attention to do a stupid freaking interactive thing that feels
yeah,
pointless. But worse than that is how the achievements are set up. Most of these games tend to make basically play for the game, all the achievements will unlock on the way.
mm,
Sometimes you have to make saves at a certain point because choices will change the story.
yeah, of course.
Here, here the achievements are all there, just play through, except two of them, right? One where it's like you have to make a choice of a filter color. Choose the red filter, choose the blue filter, choose the yellow filter, which is a secret achievement for some reason. And that's it. But basically, all it means is finish that chapter, replay that chapter, make the choice again. Finish that chapter, replay that chapter, make the choice again. And the last achievement, well, the last two, one of them is basically at the very start of the game in the prologue, the character asks you a question. Basically, it's do you believe his story or not? I chose at the time, first time I did it, I chose basically no. The the next achievement is I had to choose yes. So I have to go back and start it, choose yes
Yeah,
again. That unlocks, and then you get the achievement, a 200 gamer score achievement for unlocking all achievements. So you
yeah,
clearly didn't even know what to fucking do with them.
yeah. Sounds like that typical game where just basically the achievements are just so freaking easy and stupid, and yeah,
Yeah, and I normally, like I said, it could sit in the achievements only one, but because I didn't like the story, because I didn't like it,
yeah,
I put it in the worst. Alongside that, though, is Bumblebee Search for Happiness, which is an unfortunate worst because I really do like the music in this game. And I like the concept. You play a Bumblebee who basically, here's a level. You fly around, going collecting, like, I thought they looked like maple leaves, but apparently there's something else. Collecting 30 of these, and then you move on to the next level. And it's supposed to be relaxing gameplay with really nice music. It is those things. It looks nice. It's got nice, really nice music, and it is relaxing, except for one thing. Right. So these things that you've got to collect are like you hit one, and the next one unlocks. So the next one will appear. Before
yeah,
that, it doesn't appear. So bear in mind you're flying a bumblebee, and the camera can be a little iffy to do turns. They don't. You would think, right? You're following a path. Is you hit one, you fly to the next one, and so on. That
yeah,
is how it works. Except constantly, the game will go, "I'll hit one," and then it just won't be there. Like, where is it? It's because it appeared behind me,
mm.
or it's over to the left, and I've got to then turn around and find it. Now, it's easy to get lost. There's one level which is basically mostly trees. And finding it is actually really difficult. I started to get really frustrated, particularly as well, because there are power ups that look very similar. So yeah, in the end, I wasn't relaxed. I was annoyed.
It sounds like do you remember back in the day Bug's Life, that game, the level where Hopper's chasing you and the female bug's carrying you, and you got the maze, and you got to find all the collectibles and shit.
Right, I do know what you mean. It's not that. It's more
Yeah,
open than that because that's like you're going down a canyon.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That was I remember that was quite a challenging level as well. Her name is Atta.
Yeah,
You put some respect on Atta's name, you know.
yeah,
And my last one is, and I haven't played a lot of this, so this is a tentative worst. But right now I'm like, why did I play it by this? Rugrats Adventures in Gameland. So this is a remake of an old Rugrats game.
I know why you bought it.
Well, because I've got nostalgic love for Rugrats. That's why. That's why I bought. But I really loved how this looked, the remake, and it's a platformer, an old school 2D platformer where you play as the babies and you collect stuff and all that, and it looked really nice. So it went on sale. I thought, yeah, I'm going to pick this up. And at the moment, honestly, these sort of games I didn't even like back in the day. It's so I'm lost all the time. It's like a 2D platform level where you would think, oh, get that A to B, except no, you can go up, down, left, right, different screens, different areas. It's a dreamland. It's hard, very hard as well. The dodging enemy attacks and all that. Like, I just found it. I'm finding it so irritating to play. I don't know. I'm just, when you have that buyer's regret. I have buyer's regret.
Yeah.
But I am gonna try to complete it, so hopefully I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more next time. But
Of
for now, it's
course.
in the worst because I do not like it. Go on, what's your worst?
So my worst is the middle one of the Assassin's Creed Chronicles. So
Okay.
it's the Russia version,
Ooh,
and yeah, it was the hardest out of the lot. I didn't enjoy the assassin controlling.
okay.
Yeah, just the visuals was terrible, and yeah, it just out of the three Chronicle versions, it was the worst one for me. China being the best, India being the second, and Russia being the third.
How interesting. How
Yeah,
interesting. Ah, okay. Right, well, let's move on to the positive stuff then. Let's do some best stuff. Right, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to go back and forth. And I'm going to start. I'm going to do two in a row. Um, Two in a row because one of them isn't really. It's more of just finishing up and explaining.
yeah,
Before I actually talk like about a brand new game. So, in the time, since we last did this video, the last month, I have now finished. And what I mean by finished is completed the story of Tales of Symphonia Remastered. It took 20 years, but I finally saw the ending. It does drag on a little bit. The last part of the game does feel like it could wrap up a bit, but man, oh man, that is a badass boss battle. It's just that proper like and as a bad guy, while the bad guy has sympatheticness to him, oh, I wanted to put him down. Just like you get like yeah, like proper that stuff. Really, really pleased to do it. So obviously, I told you, if you remember, there was no way in hell I was ever going to 100% this game, and I still stand by that.
yeah.
But they did something that basically encourages you to start a new game, and I fucking love it. Do you remember it? Do you remember this game?
Briefly, I get an
Let me
idea. I
ask you a
don't.
question then. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember that as you play the game and you beat enemies, you get a weird thing called grade, where it would give you like a score, percentage score for how well you fought or how quickly you beat them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
At certain points in the game, you can spend grade at certain points, but um, at the end of the game, what they do is that they take all your grade and offer you to spend it before you start a new game. And what you can do is basically add a load of bonuses, things that make the next playthrough easier, faster, carrying stuff over. I was staggered. I was like, oh my god, how clever is this?
it's always fun.
So I started a new game plus bringing lots of stuff over, and then I'm now working using someone's guide, slowly going to work my way through the titles. I'm hoping basically not that I will necessarily complete the game, but by the end of this year, I will have a lot more done than I thought I would.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of what I'll keep you all updated with how that's going. And on the next one, only is another one just because I've just started it. But I have started the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. I, like everybody else, went, nah, I'm not playing another Elder Scrolls a bloody game. It's too big. And then I saw what everybody else saw and was like, wait, this is a remaster or a remake?
Mm.
So then I basically went, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the first part in the dungeons and all of that part and get to the outside and I'll record it for the YouTube channel. And yeah, well, I haven't officially gone back to it yet. The plan is I'm going to continue playing it because honestly, it still makes me laugh, and I think it's still incredible that they managed to shadow drop this. Like it's insane that they did manage that, and it's incredible. It's that whole. It's not putting other remasters to shame because I think they call it. I think it should be called a remake, not a freaking remaster. But
Yeah,
yeah, they've done an incredible job. It looks amazing.
yeah. I'll get to it at some point.
Okay, you go.
So okay, so obviously the Assassin's Creed game. So I'm gonna start off with the. So it's Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. Obviously, I completed it back in the original version. Got back in the remastered version. Absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely excellent. I'm going to probably be a bit. No, actually, no. Sorry, I'm not going to say what I was going to say yet because that's coming up. Um, Good game, excellent game. Obviously, it's a long completion. Only annoying thing, obviously, typical Assassin's Creed game is all the collectibles,
Of
but
course.
you know what you're getting with these games. And yeah, it's an excellent game. Definitely goes in my top enjoyable. But my issue was that I put this up as my top best Assassin's Creed game until I played the next one, which just completely outshadowed it.
Well, isn't that fabulous, isn't it? That you're finding great, because considering how many Assassin's Creed games you're playing at the moment, you should, in theory, be getting sick of them. So the fact you're actually really enjoying them, or
Oh
enjoying
yeah,
the majority of them, is fantastic. How many do you have left?
one. I've got three which I completed, and obviously one I'm playing at the moment. So four.
Okay, I've got 5 games to talk about, so we'll go back and forth then. Well, actually, you do the one that you haven't completed. Which is this one you want to talk about?
So the one I'm currently playing at the moment is obviously Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Right.
This obviously, of course, it is my favourite.
Hmm.
It's absolutely fantastic. I think visually the game is absolutely outstanding. I think the developers need huge respect because they've literally did the history, the location is literally it's all to a T. I even had to Google some of the areas just to visualize it, and it's spot on. It's absolutely perfect.
Oh wow, that's fantastic,
Yeah,
fabulous.
and I was going to save. I don't know. I'm going to say what I was going to say when I say that when I talk about another game. But yeah, I mean, I'm halfway through this game. I'll be finished it in a week's time, so I can start the next one. But
Check it. There we go. Okay, right. I've got what should I'll do the one that I haven't finished either as well then. Shadows of the Damned, Hella Remastered. Did you play Shadows of the Damned when it came out on Xbox 360?
I don't recall it.
Yeah, very sexy, silly, over the top action adventure shooting third person game set in hell. It's hard to describe it. It's freaking weird. It comes from Suda51. If you know that developer, you know that they make unusual games, and this is very much the case. A lot of this actually could be deemed inappropriate in some people's eyes. Certainly, some of the basically there's a lot of dick jokes in this game. You play a guy who's basically gone to hell to rescue his beloved. But hell is a little bit different than you might think it is. It's
Yeah,
this is a remastered version of that game. I thought that would be fun to play, and yeah, it's still fun to play. It's a lot more linear than I remember. But you know what? I'm going to talk about linear games in a bit when I talk about one other game that I'm going to leave to the end. But just to sort of say that I am more than happy every so often to have a game go, here's the level, there's the end. Off
yeah,
you go, son. And I'm like, thank you very much. No open world nonsense. No having to look at a map. Just there we go. So at the moment, I'm enjoying this. I find it so silly. The humor gets me. Do you know what I mean? Like, the boner jokes. That
yeah,
your gun is called boner. It's a fucking flying skull that transforms into a gun and
mm,
makes penis jokes. That's dumb, but that just tickles me, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, just to keep us matched up, I'm going to do one more and then we'll come back to you. But we're talking completed games now, but I've got a couple of small ones first. I'm going to talk about Next of Kin. Next of Kin is effectively a visual novel, but a top-down one with using 2D graphics and with a little bit more interactivity in that you move around and talk to people. It starts in the most mundane way ever. You're like, oh, you're a couple moving to a new town. Blah. Who cares, right? Not that interesting. Some of the language is a bit odd as well, the dialogue, but I think that might more be a sort of English translation kind of thing. But either way,
Yeah,
I was like, okay, what's this? I basically I read the reviews and people said it's not what you think it is, and they are right. I don't know, trigger warning, I guess, because Next of Kin is a very dark game. Holy shit, does this game quickly turn into something it's not? You think it is all about mental health illnesses, and how not only how it affects the person, but how it affects others around you. And it's wrapped up in a mystery that you have to unravel. Basically, years pass by, your character wakes up one day to find the house trashed, blood everywhere, his wife missing, the town's empty. It's all very odd. Uh, it does kind of almost lose its way at the end, where it kind of does a bait and switch, like it's a twist that I didn't really like.
yeah,
However, the game's final message, and the last conversation that happens in the game is so strong, so powerful that I'm gonna actually repeat it here, so to speak. I'm not gonna spoil the game, but I'm gonna simply tell you that the game's final message is that those all those who have mental health issues, and that's everybody in some way to some degree, but if in some way or another there were times when we all of us just need, maybe we just need that little bit of extra help, just that little bit of extra help. It might be one day, it might just be for a day, it might be for a week, it might be a certain task, it could be whatever, but every one of us at some point or another, maybe we just need that extra bit of help, and that's okay. How fucking brilliant a message is that? What a
it's,
way
it's,
to sort of define and to not make anyone be ashamed of a mental health issue and stuff like that, you know? That final message is staggering. And the thing is, the game's very easy. It could have fit in the achievements only, but because I just loved the setup, the middle, not quite the ending, but the final message, like it's in the best. So yeah, if you wanna, and it takes about an hour to complete. So that's Next of Kin. Okay, give me another Assassin's Creed.
yeah. So I'm gonna I completed this one before this one, but to make my point of what I want to say, I've got to say this one first. So
Yep.
it's Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Okay.
Now,
Don't know
in
this
my
one.
in my in
Oh,
my
sorry, I do know this. Sorry, I do know British, right? British.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, with
yeah,
Jack the Ripper DLC and all of that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Yep, I played this.
in my opinion, the last. Now, bear in mind, I haven't played Shadow yet, and I haven't played the Viking one yet, so I'm basing it off this. But in my opinion, the last proper Assassin's Creed game, where the other
Hmm.
ones have gone away from being assassins, really, and the Brotherhood and all stuff like that. So, but Assassin's Creed Syndicate, excellent game. I love the DLC, the Jack the Ripper. I think it's excellent. I love seeing old London. It's just absolutely amazing. And there's the other DLC where you go back in time and you're working under Winston Churchill in World War One,
I remember.
and it still is the sound, but shooting down like German bombers attacking London at the time, I think it was just fantastic, genius idea, and yeah, excellent game.
Yeah, now you're talking about it, I remember a fair bit about this game. It was a good game. It was an enjoyable game, you know. Yeah, good shout, good shout. Remember, folks, we are both Londoners. So, like, any chance to play old school London, why the hell not? Fun time, right? Okay, let me talk about To the Moon. So To the Moon is a again a kind of visually novel, but one with more puzzles and more exploration. So I love to sort of call it a visual novel. It is I call it a story-driven game where there's a lot of talking, a lot of narrative and stuff like that. But To the Moon was a game I first played in 2019 on the mobile. And I still cite that game as one of my all-time favorite games. To the Moon sits there up alongside Little Inferno and Thomas Was Alone. I love To the Moon. It made me cry. Its story is really simple. You are two doctors who work for a company that gives you your final wish. In this world, you can be who you want to be before you die. Obviously, you've got to be able to pay for it. And basically, what they do is they go into your memories. When you're near death, they go into your memories and change your memories so that your final wish will come true. So in this story, the character is in a coma. Johnny, his wish is to have gone to the moon, to go to the moon. To do that, they go into his memories and basically change things around. He won't ever have gone to the moon, but his mind will
Yeah,
believe he went to the moon. And it's their job to go into his memories, find links to get to the point, and then change his childhood where he may have grown up interested in the moon. Maybe he joined NASA, all of this kind of things. But Johnny ends up proving to be a challenge because something traumatic happened in his childhood. But not only that, there's a character, his wife, who links everything together, and it causes the doctors to actually end up clashing over whether they should morally change his memories because of what it might mean. It is fucking brilliant. And honestly, the last 15 minutes of the game is some of the best storytelling, most emotional stuff I've still ever played. It's now out on Xbox. It is still and it's an easy completion. It will take you maybe 3 hours with a guide because there's a couple of missables, so it's worth paying attention. So, but what you get in return to that, I think, is one of the best stories from an emotional, well-written point of view. The final scenes, if you know the game with no spoilers, folks, the final scenes where with the rocket and the hands, like honestly, I'm doing it again. I was like, oh my god, this game. I loved it back then. Honestly, I cannot recommend To the Moon enough. And the joke is, it's also weird, it's silly. It's got comedy. It looks great. It's got fantastic music. Its opening theme is one of those like on I have on a playlist, that kind of
yeah.
thing. Like, so yeah, I recommend To the Moon. Fucking love it. Really glad it got re-released on consoles. After you.
Yeah, so I've got obviously I've got two left. So I think this is one you play too, but this is one I absolutely love. This is I think this is my first proper open world one, and this was
Mhm.
Assassin's Creed Mirage. So this one here is again visually is outstanding. I mean, there's achievement for call on top of the world where you're standing on top of the pyramids in like in Giza in Egypt, and it's
Hold
just
on, hold on. Is that Mirage?
yeah, Mirage, yeah.
I thought that was. Well, I thought Mirage was the one in Iraq. Bag.
Yeah, it's the
Which
it's the, it's the you're standing in the pyramids in Giza or Gaza.
pyramids? Giza. No, I think you're getting. I think you're getting the two confused. Assassin's Creed Mirage isn't pyramids. That's Assassin's Creed Mirage is the one set in Baghdad.
Which one am
There's no
I? Oh,
pyramids
yeah, yeah.
there.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, that's
It's right. Start again. Start this whole bit again. So I'll come to you again and start it again. That's why I was getting confused.
yeah.
All right, you go.
Yeah, so it's Assassin's Creed Mirage. I think it's the one you played too, and it's
Yep.
based in Baghdad.
Yeah.
Again visually is outstanding. You know, riding your camel and your horse across the desert is just amazing, just brilliant. Obviously, again, Assassin's Creed, hell of a lot of collectibles, but I'm willing to do it because and it's going to be fair, map's quite small, so it's not a big massive area to explore. But it's for me, it's one of the first games where I think Assassin's Creed stepped away from being an assassin and a brotherhood and stuff like that. You know, you're still
The hidden
classed as an
ones. It's all
assassin.
about the hidden ones, isn't it?
Yeah, hidden ones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just an absolutely outstanding game. Yeah,
Yeah, obviously, I won't go into too much detail because when I had it in the best when I finished it, I think a month or two ago. To say I do agree with a lot of what you're saying. The other thing I'd sort of say is that it doesn't have the best story. Like, do you
yeah,
like? I completed it maybe a few weeks ago, and if you would have asked me about the story, I'd be like, "Well, I remember Bazem as the character.
yep,
Yeah, something." But there we go. Okay. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I played and completed this now, folks. Obviously, a bit late to this compared to everybody else, but goddamn, am I glad I was late to it. Because obviously, when everybody else started playing it, many of them ran into glitches and issues. Don't get me wrong, I still ran into them. but I came to the game when it was unpatched to in a better way, in a better way. And yeah, I love it. I love it. Look, I am weirdly, you know, how kind of I've talked before. I'm not hot on nostalgia. Sometimes I worry it blinds people, but there are things I get nostalgic over too, and one of them is Indiana Jones. I still love that film series. Up to a point, you know, up to a point.
This was gold.
And yeah, to say the least. But yeah, actually saying that, okay, you know what? Let's do our rankings of the five films. So there's five films now of Indiana Jones: the original trilogy, Crystal Skull, and Dial of Destiny. So I'm gonna right. Let's do it back and forth. Right, what's the worst Indiana Jones in your opinion?
Crystal Skull.
Yep, same. I am still. I do. For me, lowest Kingdom Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Fucking aliens. Fucking
Uh,
aliens. Swinging vines in the jungle. I have no issue with. Frank, what's his name from Transformers? Kid character in
oh,
it.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, Shia
Yeah.
LaBeouf. I have no problem with Shia. I really don't. I've seen him some great stuff. But honestly, god damn this film. God damn that
Yeah.
film. God damn that film. Honestly. Right. Fourth worst.
Dial of Destiny.
Same. Honestly,
Yeah.
I wanted to like it. I really did, and there were times I liked it. But not only is it way too long, somehow that film was nearly like 2.5 hours long. There are so many moments where I was not only just bored, I was just like, this is crap. I again like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I think she's good in it and all that. But man, oh man, they got to stop. They really. Oh, you know what? Anyway, let's look at it. But yeah, all right. Here it gets interesting because now we hit original trilogy. So third, well, the next one in your, what would be the next?
Okay, so don't know. I love these three, but so third one, I can't remember fucking call now. The
Which
one with his
one?
dad. The one with his dad.
Oh, Last Crusade.
Yeah, that's the last crusade. Yeah, sorry, last crusade.
Wow. Okay. That's I
Yeah,
thought that might be near the top for you, but fair enough. Okay. For me, it is Temple of Doom. This is really hard because
mm,
honestly, these original trilogy are all special in their own way. But when I thought about it, I think if younger me would have put Temple of Doom higher, older me struggles to watch it because I, like so many of you, hate the character of Willie. Like she's just too much. And all
yeah,
that screaming will just drive you nuts. But my God, there are so many moments and oh, Molarama
yeah.
is such a great villain. The locations, the story, the heroics. Honestly, I love Temple of Doom. I love it. But yes, third for me. All right, your second then. What's number
So,
two?
well, for me, my second is Temple of Doom,
Fair enough.
and of course, number one is the
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
best.
whoa, 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 whoa. Let me do my number two before you jump there. Well, this is where I guess we differ because number two for me is Raiders of the Lost Ark. I do love it. I do
Yeah,
love it, but um, I it's not got quite the same nostalgic kick for me of the one that's my number one in the sense. But also Raiders. There's a couple of times in it where it doesn't. There's a scene like certain scenes with Marion that I don't particularly like or don't particularly care for. Some of the action isn't quite as fun in that kind of way, But like it's Raiders. I mean, it's an incredible fucking film. Plus, once you know something, it doesn't ruin the film, but I can't watch it in the same way. Do you want to know? You want to hear it? So
yeah, yeah. Go on.
the theory is this. Not even a theory; it's fact actually. Indiana Jones has no effect on the movie.
Oh, I've heard this.
You
Yeah,
know
actually,
this, right? In
yeah,
that
yeah,
basically everything would have happened as it did, regardless of Indiana Jones being in that film. The
yeah,
Nazis would still have got the Ark, they'd have still taken it to the island, and they'd still have opened it, and all died anyway.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that kind of just makes you wonder what the hell's the point of him then?
It's got Ghibli from Lord of the Rings in it. So,
What, that's your reason for liking it? For the brief
no, no,
brief
no, no, no,
part
no,
of
no.
God damn, man.
No.
God damn. John Rhys Davies. John Rhys Davies is obviously
Yeah,
great in these films as well, you know. But
yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, well, your number one is obviously Raiders then.
yeah,
And mine is The Last Crusade. Sean Connery, that was a genius decision to
yeah.
cast that man as his father. But the locations, the Nazism, the action scenes from the early one in Venice to the desert one with the tanks. God, that shit's so entertaining. To the finale, the God stuff, the ending, the very to the origin story, how
Yeah,
using River Phoenix to sort of be the younger Indiana Jones, the train ride. That stuff is brilliant. It is brilliant.
yeah. I
That is
think
my Indiana Jones adventure.
the whole church scene under the church and stuff like is
Oh,
obviously excellent. The history, yeah,
I love it. Yeah, I really do. But basically, the point of all of this was just to point out that we are both huge, huge fans, really, really in love with this franchise. And
Mhm.
I think this game nailed what I think Indiana Jones can still be. From a story perspective, from an adventure. I loved the person playing Indiana Jones. I think they did a really good job on that. But I also love the villain was quite funny, over the top German Nazi. I love the female companion. Gina was cool as well. Um, but saying all of that, I think the game's a little too long, and I think the final third, particularly when you go to the jungle area, gets a little bit stretched. I didn't like
Yeah.
exploring the jungle area because I had to keep getting on and off a fucking boat. But also the goddamn collectibles. Oh my god, the game has so many collectibles. It's irritating.
I thought the desert area in that game was the epitome of Indiana Jones to me. You know,
I
so
I I, I really like that. I really like the first one as well, the Vatican as
the
well.
back, yeah, the back was good. Yeah, yeah,
But there's still so much stuff I loved about it. I never got tired, even at the end. I think what I did before I shut the game down, I got the last achievement, and then I went back. I think it was to the desert, and I went to the Nazi camp, and I just went, "Ah!" Just running through punching Nazis because fuck those Nazis. And I do love the sound effects and the sound of the whip and all of that sort of stuff. It's a great
yeah,
game, and I think it's a great way for the legacy of Indiana Jones to potentially continue in game form.
yeah.
Okay, I've got two more, and you've got one
I've
more,
got
right?
yeah one more. Yeah,
All right, let me do one more, and then we'll finish on our final one. So, Atomfall. It was on X Game Pass, and so I was like, sweet, I'm gonna play Atomfall. It promised a British version of Fallout, but on a much smaller scale, and that is exactly what it is. To a point, it is a British version of Fallout, but on a much smaller scale, and it's very interesting. It's very fun. It's very straightforward. You can complete the game on your first playthrough, doing all the side missions and things like that
mm.
in about 12 hours, 12 to 15 hours, depending upon if you get stuck in certain areas. And the game has a speed run achievement. And you can actually complete the game in an hour and an hour and a half. That's how actually short it is.
Yeah,
So it's when I say a small version of Fallout, I mean small
yeah,
world and story and details. You will to complete the game 100%. You will just have to make clever saves because the
mm.
game has like 6 different endings. So before you there's certain decisions you make and things like that. But yeah, it is cool to play. It is cool. It is flawed. It does have its problems, but I actually enjoyed playing it. It was quite refreshing to kind of dive into a game like this, where it's like, okay, right, I'm going to do the whole sort of semi-open world thing, Fallout style and crafting and stuff like that. But then it's like, oh, it's not that taxing. It's not asking that much for you to do. It's not overly complicated. Yeah, cool, go for it. And there's something really cool about the fact, right? And this is what is quite funny about the speed run is that in Atomfall, everybody can die. So you can basically kill off characters who are super integral to the plot. And it just changes the entire plot. It's hilariously funny. I find that hilariously funny. But yeah,
yeah.
if you ever get a chance, considering it's a Game Pass game, do consider playing Atomfall. It's not a difficult game. To 100% it, it'll probably take you about 15, 20 hours.
Mm.
Okay, I've got one more, but let's do your last one and then we'll do my last one.
So my last one is, of course, obviously Assassin's Creed, but it's the Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
Before I played Odyssey, this game was my absolute favorite. It was absolutely fantastic. Again, props to the developers because the graphics and the location is absolutely beautiful. You know, it's based in obviously Egypt, and being on top of the pyramids was just absolutely standing on top of the pyramid, and to be able to see people moving around from literally so far away. I think graphically it's just outstanding.
Yeah.
And then the DLC was amazing too. You know, you go to the afterlife and you got to fight fucking Tutankhamun and bloody all stuff like that as because they're Egyptian gods and stuff like that. Just
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah, amazing game. Obviously, again, the same criticism, massive amount of collectibles, but you know what you're getting with Assassin's Creed, so
Yeah.
don't complain. So yeah.
I hear you. It's actually my. It will be. It will be the next Assassin's Creed game I play when I decide to start the next one. That has been downloaded and it's on my hard drive. It is the one that I want to do next. Okay. Last but not least, it's South of Midnight. This is an Xbox exclusive game on Game Pass. So no excuses, folks. Get on this game. And remember, early in this video, I talked about linear. And I said, I'll come back to this. This is me coming back to it. South of Midnight is a linear game where you have 15 chapters or 14 chapters, aka 14 levels. You have bosses after every couple of levels. You go from A to B. And every level has some detours because there are collectibles, of course, and
Yeah,
upgrades and things like that. And there are way too many collectibles for this game. I will say that, way too many, irritatingly so. But you know, it's pretty easy if you pay attention and you know whatever. But regardless, A to B, you play Hazel, who's a weaver, finding out she's a weaver, trying to rescue her mother from fantastical creatures set in a sort of mythical deep south lore kind of character thing. There are a certain group of people being absolute melts about this game because oh my god, shock horror. You play as a black woman. I know. How dare they? Even though it is also set in Deep South America and uses black Deep South cultural icon and elements, stories and stuff. I know, right? I know it's terrible, Dave. Can you believe you play as a black woman?
but I don't get it because literally every Assassin's Creed game in Chronicles, you're a Russian, an Indian, a Chinese, a Baghdad one. You're playing against from Iraq. What's the issue?
That's I don't know, right?
I
But
mean, literally, the one I'm playing now, Origins, okay, yeah, okay. They've added where you can choose your own dialogue, yeah, and basically one of the achievements I've done is you basically have sex with anyone you want, men or women. So to get,
I know. But remember, everything now, everything you don't like or don't appreciate is remember everything you don't like is woke. That's the answer. This end, I don't like this car. It's woke and nonsense like that. Honestly, it's infuriating because once you play South of Midnight, this story. Like it wouldn't even make sense for a white person. It don't make no sense. It is about it's black history. It's black culture. It's stories from the deep south, songs that slaves might have sung back. It's all that shit. Like it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And honestly, Hazel, the main character, is so likable. She's so likable. You'll honestly, if you've got an issue with this game, you might other than about the characters, you might just be a little racist because there's no
yeah,
reason of I can see from that, right? But regardless, but that doesn't necessarily mean the game's perfect. Oh, the game has problems. Combat is a little bit iffy. It's a repetitive, and once you work out how it works, like its cycle, you'll be like, oh, okay, it's got a kind of formula. But I actually, my positive and why is because I really wanted the formula. I didn't want an open world. I wanted to go into an arena, kill some enemies, do the thing I have to do, and then move on to level, listening to the story, enjoying the cutscenes, and enjoying the game. Looks gorgeous. But man, I love the mythical world, you know, and I loved what it is every sort of level tells a story. So like it'll be like here's an old story about a three-toed alligator that wouldn't stop eating, so it's as big as a house. And you basically learn about it as you go along, leading to that boss battle. Hugging Molly, the story of hugging Molly, which is like a witch character that steals children. And then like you kind of learn the backstory of the story, which is all real legends as well. So it's
yeah.
really, really cool. It is as a completionist a little bit challenging and take you maybe about 15 to 20 hours, but that's mainly because it's got a lot of collectibles and I had to replay a lot of chapters. But 3 out of 4 of the bosses has an achievement for beating those bosses without taking damage. Now, all the bosses have patterns, so you simply have to learn the patterns, right? But weirdly, the first boss, the giant alligator, is the hardest one to do that of all 3. Weirdly, Hugging Molly and the bird, I can't remember the name of the bird, are easier to learn the patterns and things like that. But the alligator one probably took me about an hour. Quite challenging because his attacks were a little bit more randomized, whereas the others follow a pattern well worth doing. But this game is on Game Pass. It's an Xbox exclusive, so it means it's probably not going to leave Game Pass at all. So definitely play it. But basically, play it for the same reason, right? You were doing a shit ton of Assassin's Creed, all open world. This isn't like this is just an old school. This could be a PlayStation game where you just play levels, go through them, you complete the levels. I don't know. I am so sick. We talked about this before. I'm so sick of everything being open world. Just sometimes I just want to play a game like this. It does let me down because there's too many collectibles, and that's an irritation. Because you've got to get. Of course, there's an achievement for collecting all of them.
Yeah, of course.
But it's not the end of the world because they are all on your path. Well, occasionally you'll come to like an area, like a town area, and there'll be several buildings. There'll be stuff hidden in the buildings, things like that. That's about as far as this game goes.
Yeah.
You know? But if you've ever played like the modern Prince of Persia games, this is quite similar as well, where you would platform, you're running off walls, you're doing jumps, double jumps, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I thoroughly recommend it. Unless you're massively racist and the idea of playing a black woman offends you to such a degree, you know. You know what's the most shocking thing? I don't think we know our sexuality. I don't think it ever comes up. So you know what? We just don't know. Well, that's got to be woke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, indeed.
A hell of a lot of games played, right? So I guess next time we do this, you'll still be talking about Assassin's fucking Creed.
Well,
you might be done.
I'd probably just about finish Odyssey, and I'll be starting the Viking when I come over.
Valhalla, yes.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed you got a bit more to talk about. We shall see. But that is our best and worst of gaming of April 2025. You got any thoughts on this you want to share? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.